What do you think the number one legal dispute is right now? What the heck's going on? You said I was going to pay this amount. You said you were going to support me with here. Boom, legal battle. 70% of franchise systems report 0 to 1 lawsuits. Franchisors who promise actual and unrealistic earnings run the other way. Guys, if you're going to invest in a company as a franchise, you need to believe in the product or service. Hey everyone, welcome to Courtside Conversations. My name's Emil, founder and owner of Little Boomers Basketball, and it's a pleasure to be your host today. Wherever you're watching today's episode, I hope you're having a booming day, and yes, the pun is intended. My journey to entrepreneurship started on May 1st, 2018 when I launched my first basketball program with 9 kids enrolled. Today, thousands of kids across Australia are thriving in our programs, all thanks to the commitment and passion of our incredible franchisees. This podcast is here to give you real, straightforward, no BS insights into business, entrepreneurship, and what it's like to own a franchise. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. 5 red flags that scream, don't buy this franchise. That is the topic of today's episode. I'm going to give you, if I was a potential franchisee coming into a network, I'm going to give you the 5 red flags that I'll look for that's going to make me run the other way. And by the way, I'm a franchisor, so you're getting some really good insights and information here before you make your step in purchasing a franchise. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Out of all the legal disputes that's happening in the franchise system, which there is many legal disputes, what do you think the number one legal dispute is right now? Think about all the disputes that can arise in franchising. What do you think the number one legal dispute is? Hopefully you've put a little bit of thought behind it because I'm going to give it to you right now. It is misrepresentation of facts, discrepancies between franchisor promises and actual support or earnings experienced by a franchisee. That's the number one legal concern happening with franchising. The franchisor, before the agreement is signed, promises the world, we're going to do this, you're going to earn that, we're going to support you. Franchisee comes in, signs, pays the investment, and then says, what the heck's going on? You said I was going to pay this amount. You said you were going to support me with here. Boom, legal battle. And another statistic as well that might blow your mind away a little bit is 70% of franchise systems report 0 to 1 lawsuits. So there's some quite alarming statistics with legal disputes happening in the franchise system. So what I want to do is I want to give you 5 red flags that scream, don't buy this franchise so you can run the other way, save you all the legal headache and everything that follows through. So you can thank me later. Now, guys, in this example, before I get into my 5 tips, I want you to pretend of a marriage, right? Now, what happens before marriage? You're dating the other person, and what tends to happen in the first couple of dates? You know, you want to make sure that you're a good catch. You want to say, yeah, I work hard. I'm a good earner. I'm a provider. I cook all my meals. I'm going to be a nice father. You know, you promise the world. Both people, they promise the world. You know, if we were to get married, I'm going to go buy a house. I'm going to make sure I'm working. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to be there for you. And then what happens? You get married, you sign the deal off, and then all of a sudden you're unemployed. You're not making any food. You're not doing any of the dishes. You said you were going to help take the kids to sports. You're not doing any of that. And then the wife or the husband says, man, I got sold this dream of this guy that you were going to be and how you were going to help me. And you did the wedding vows through thick and thin, et cetera, et cetera. And then boom, divorce. And franchising is a lot like that, guys. We need to be aware of what happens before the agreements are signed. Let's call it the dating phase. So here it is. The first one is red flag number 1. Franchisors who promise actual and unrealistic earnings run the other way. And I'll give you an example with one of our franchisees who we have now. He was inquiring, I mentioned this before, he was inquiring with another franchise system and they were promising him, I think, $100,000 in his first year and all these other, wishy-washy claims. And he felt a little bit he felt like he wasn't being completely honest and transparent, and that kind of deterred him away from the network. And when he came to me, I was very realistic. I said, look, this is how much our top earning franchisees earn. This is our lowest performing franchisee. If you put in the work and the time and you follow our systems, the results can vary depending on what you put in. So you need to be careful of franchisors who are promising actual and unrealistic earnings, because the fact of the matter is, guys, if I'm the franchisor, if I'm promising you something, I can't control how much time you put into the business. It's completely out of my control. I currently own an area right now. I know what I need to do to get my numbers up, but I can't promise someone coming in that you're going to make 100,000. They come in and then they're not dialing the phone. They're not delivering good customer service. Some of these things are really out of my control. So be very careful of franchisors who are promising actual and unrealistic earnings. Red flag number 2, an overabundance of negative reviews from clients about the product or service. Guys, if you're going to invest in a company as a franchise, you need to believe in the product or service. And I highly recommend you speak to clients or you do Google reviews to see what type of service the franchise network is delivering. Now, you're always going to have that one Karen that leaves a 1-star review, maybe another Karen. Don't worry about them. These are the people that, look at the world in a negative way. So don't get deterred if there's one-star review or two, a couple of bad reviews. Don't let that deter you. But if there's a lot of negative reviews about the service that the company delivers, and a lot of different sites have got negative reviews, that's quite alarming. That will tell me that the product or service isn't meeting the expectations of clients, isn't as good as it seems, or there's some franchisees in the network that are quite negative, that aren't delivering the best experience to the customers. So I'd be doing research on Google to the different locations and sites and seeing what the reviews are. In our industry, we're big on parents' reviews, right? I make sure we tell the franchisees, collect as much reviews as you get from happy parents, because that helps. So we're very particular with parents, and if anyone does leave us a 1-star review, we are very close and action that immediately. So do your research on what the reviews are from the company for the service or product. Red flag number 3, if the franchisor, I'm going to give you a little bit of example. Let's say we go on a date, right? It's the first date, Tinder date, whatever, you met from church. And let's say on the first date, you're liking the date, you go to a nice Italian restaurant, you're eating pizza, you're getting along, you got so much similarities in common. And then at the end of the date, the guy says, look, I want you to marry me, and proposes to you with a ring. Now, if you were the girl, you would probably run the other way and say, what the heck? This guy's proposing on the first date? Oof, massive red flag vibes. I got to go, see you later. I got to wake up early in the morning, right? Hey, just quickly, if you're enjoying today's episode, it will mean the world to me if you can leave a positive review or share it with a friend that may benefit from this. I've also put some bonus resources in the description, including a real franchise case study that you can download under our Franchise Success Blueprint. Hope you find it useful. Enjoy the rest of the episode and rock on. Adios. Now, if the franchisor is too pushy and is trying to get you through the door, I'd run the other way, guys, because franchising is a lot like a marriage. You don't propose on the first date. You need time to see if this business is right for you. A lot of franchise agreements go for a minimum of 5 years. Hopefully, you're looking at it for the long run, like you would for a marriage. So if they're pushing you in to sign up within a week or within 2 weeks, that's a red flag in my opinion, because you as a franchisee or future franchisee, you need time to speak to franchisees, to speak to your wife, to see if this is something, you're going to invest in. And that takes time. So just be careful if the franchisor is a little bit too pushy, pushing you through the door. Now, don't get me mistaken. We follow up, people that are interested in franchising, we follow up. But there's a difference between following up and being too pushy to get you through the door. Red flag number 4. Now, this is probably a little bit controversial. If I'm about to invest in a franchise, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the big major platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm going to search up the company. If I search up their Facebook and I see that their last post was a photo in October 2021, red flag, because that shows me the company has zero social media presence. And in 2025, my goodness, every single industry, every single business, I don't care if it's trade, hospitality, whatever, must have a strong social media presence. We live in a digital age right now. Everybody's online. If you're not posting reviews about your product, value-based content, if the franchisor is not investing in social media or investing in marketing, right? If they've got, if their lead system isn't good, if they're not doing search engine optimization, if they're not running ads to give leads to franchisees, that is a massive red flag, right? And we're very heavy, at Little Boomers, we're very heavy on social media. We've got an SEO team that posts every year round so that we're popping on Google. We've got a digital media company that does 25 reels every single month across all of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. That does cost us a lot of money, but we're putting ourselves on the market, showcasing testimonials. We've even got our coaches showing drills that you can do at home. We're heavy on social media, and any franchise company must have a social media presence and strong marketing. If it's not there, guys, that shows me that the franchisor is disengaged. They're not reinvesting into marketing for whatever reason, and I would, that's a red flag. I'd run the other way. Now, my fifth red flag, guys, and I hope you're enjoying the content so far today. My fifth red flag is multiple legal battles happening between the franchisor and the franchisee. But I want to give you a little bit of a caveat with this one. If there's one legal battle, which you can search legal battles happening in the franchise system before you sign up. If there's one or two legal battles happening between the franchisor and franchisee, don't get too deterred, guys, because I'm telling you now as a franchisor, sometimes franchisees come in and they are not performing to the brand standards. And that happens all the time. We don't pick the best of the best every single time. Sometimes a franchisor does make a mistake and doesn't bring in the right person. That happens at times. And if you have to go through the legal way to protect the brand, right, then so be it. So if it's once or twice, don't get deterred. Also, don't get deterred, guys, if franchisees are reselling their business, right? Because some people ask me on the phone, is there anyone selling their business? And they're kind of trying to ask, has this not worked for some people? Guys, in every franchise system, there's going to be some franchisees selling the business. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, whether expectations weren't aligned, whether the franchisee didn't put enough work in. Could be a range of reasons, but if you're noticing that some franchisees are selling their business, don't get deterred. If you notice a big portion, like 50 or 60% of the network is reselling, okay, hold on, investigate that. But don't get deterred by the odd one or two. So what I would do is I would research if there's any legal battles happening between franchisors and franchisees, and then I will find out what these legal battles are about, right? Now, if it's very unjust stuff and the franchisor maybe is being too harsh, right, then I'll be like, okay, that's a massive red flag. But if it's something about like brand standards, franchisees not performing to the level of the brand standards, well, then you need to understand the franchisor's job is to protect the brand. Because if one franchisee suffers or delivers a negative experience in their area, guess what? The neighboring franchisees are going to suffer, because word of mouth, especially negative word of mouth these days, is like wildfire, and it's going to affect the overall network. So that's my fifth red flag. So guys, to summarize everything, my 5 red flags that scream don't buy this franchise. Number 1, franchisors who promise actual and unrealistic earnings. Be careful of that. Number 2, an overabundance of negative reviews from clients. Make sure you Google search to see if there's actually like a lot of good reviews from clients using the franchisor service. Number 3, if the franchisor is too pushy to get you through the door, run the other way. You need time. Not too much time, guys. I speak to some people, I need to research. Guys, you're never gonna, I think sometimes that's a little bit of fear, right? Fear of the unknown. I've got to research every single thing before I invest $1. The fact of the matter is you're never going to know 100% of something. If you're 90% sure, go ahead, but you're never going to have 100%. So please don't be one of those people that just sit down, I'm going to research. And really what's happening is fear is just paralyzing them, and they're just playing that, cassette tape in their mind. So if the franchisor is too pushy to get you through the door, red flag number 4, zero social media presence or marketing. That's a sign of franchisor disengagement, not investing any marketing dollars. Finally, number 5, multiple legal battles between franchisors and franchisees, but please do your research first on what these are about. So guys, to summarize, if you're about to invest in a franchise, don't be lazy. Do your due diligence. Speak to multiple existing franchisees about their experience, and please don't take what the franchisor says at face value. They are going to showcase a system. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Like if they're talking about actual earnings, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but just don't take it for face value. Don't be a clown. Do your due diligence, ask existing franchisees, and do your research. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next week for the next episode.